Hi, Harry here from the Factory Board Game Club, and welcome to the draw for our game of DUNE this Saturday. We're doing a kind of thing, or I'm trying to do a thing this year where instead of trying to play all my games or 10 by 10 or something like that, just once a month, I'm going to try and organize a big game, an epic game. So the one for January is DUNE. I've had DUNE for a while on my shelf of shame. Such I've never played it. I'm doing the teach because I'm the only one with a copy, and the other four guys they've never played it either. So it's going to be interesting. We don't know how long it's going to take, but we've been told it can take anywhere between 2 and 8 hours. It's fine by me. I know all of us bar one likes long games, so we'll see how that happens. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because my vlog next week will probably be all about that game. So it's a little bit of a taster for next week's vlog. DUNE, as it says on the box, is a game of conquest, diplomacy, and betrayal. So I've been wanting to play this game ever since it was popping up on podcasts I was listening to. They were talking about it on videos, and then I watched a few videos, and the ones I watched were MCDM. I think he says it's his favorite game, and he does about 3 or 4 playthroughs, which are about 3 to 4 hours, and they flew by. And I just loved how the asymmetricness, that's the right word, of the factions, just how they kind of just connected into the game itself. So I played a good few games of this kind of type and weight, and I can't remember seeing or playing a game that come close to where the different abilities of powers that each faction has is just so integral into the game. And a game like this, which like it only has 9 phases, and when I was learning the rules, I realized that actually the main rules aren't that they're not that difficult. It's only when you get into the intricity of when you mix in powers and the little nitty gritty, devil's in the detail, as they say, and this is definitely one of those games, and really looking forward to it. Again, like as I said, I would recommend MCDM if you want to watch playthrough. Our game won't be like that. Those guys know what they're doing. We're not. So, it's not being recorded or anything. Maybe when we get a little bit better, we might do a live feed. We'll see what happens. Now, if you, I'm not. This is also not going to be a how-to either. So, guys, if you want how to play, I'll put a link in below. RTFM channel. His one I thought was very good, and he's very good. And I think for us that played PAX Premiere last week, we watched his on that as well. It was very good. So when I've done the draw, I will just read out of the rule book. I have it here somewhere of just the strategy tips, guys. So if you stay on for each faction, because what I've kind of got the feedback I've got about this game from is that the knowing how your faction works and the strategy for your own faction is important, but it's just as it's also important to know what everyone else is doing and what their factions do. So I'm not going to go through the rules. I'm just going to read the strategy tips that's in the book, because for you four guys, you don't have the book or anything. And it's a weird thing that to do that, because I think this game might be an exception maybe, because I've spoken before with people about if you're playing a game for the first time, especially something that has a little bit of weight and a bit of meat in it, how much research or how much should you look into a game. And the general consensus is that you watch a few videos in relation to how it's played and a few reviews to kind of get a flow of how things work. But you don't actually go and research and educate yourself too much on strategy and stuff like that. This game could be an exception. We'll discuss it on Saturday, and then in my vlog I'll come back and tell you what we thought about that. So, but if you do want to watch a video, guys, on your faction, I would recommend Jack Reda, I think it is, or EDA. I'll put a link to his channel below as well. I found he's brilliant when it comes to doing and explaining things, and he does a video I think for each faction. about 10, 15 minutes on each, and they're very good. I haven't watched them or anything, but I've watched one or two of them in the past, and yeah, he's good. So they are, yeah, so there are 3 channels that I would recommend in relation to Dune. Yeah, so let's flick over now, and we'll just do the draw, and I will explain how that's going to work. It's pretty simple. So as you can see, we have our 5 players that are going to be playing on Saturday. We have in black, we have Meeps. Red is Chameleon. I'm blue. Green is Rob, and yellow is Marco. So we're going to get them, and we're just going to put them into the bag here. Okay. Now, because there's 5 of us and not 6, this is kind of the general consensus is these are the 5 to work with. So we've Atreides, Hakkinen, Freeman, Emperor, and the Spacing Guild. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put them into the bag here. I'm just going to install them up there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a faction out of the bag. I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to take a meeple out of here. And guys, that's going to be yours. So we're going to start. So let's see who comes first out of the bag. We have Freeman. So the Freeman, they are native to Dune. They are basically poor, but they have good leaders, good mobility, and also if there's no winner at the end, if they're in control, I think of one of the strongholds and certain other things, they can actually be the winner. So obviously there's more to it than that. That's just the overflow. And who is Freeman? That will be green. So that's Rob. Rob, you are the Freeman. So let's see who's going to be next. Next faction out is, okay, so that's the Emperor. So the Emperor faction, you have great wealth. So you get the spice from the bidding phase. So instead of it going into the bank, the spice bank or something, the Emperor gets that. And I think the downside is for the Emperor is that none of your forces are on the they're all in reserves. They all have to come down. So, and who's going to be the Emperor? And it is me. That's me. I'm going to be the one that's going to be getting the money. That'll be interesting. Okay, let's see who's next. Okay, we have Spacing Guild. So who's going to be the Spacing Guild? So the Spacing Guild basically control all the shipments coming down into Dune. So when you're paying for that, they get all the spice. And the other thing is that if at the end, if there's no winner, okay, if no faction has won or no allies have won, and the Freeman thing doesn't kick in, then Spacing Guild will be the winner, and their allies will be the winner. So that'll be interesting. Who's going to be the Spacing Guild? That is Meeps. Meeps, you are Spacing Guild. Okay, we've only got 2 left. Let's see who's going to come out of this one now. Okay, and we have, I think I made a mistake there. No, that's Atreides. Sorry, Atreides. So Atreides is the interesting one. So you're the only ones that have to write stuff down. And then you can use that to negotiate, and you get spice like that. You can look at the treachery card during the bidding phase, and you also get to look at the storm card. So you're pretty powerful. I can't remember exactly, but you have a problem getting spice. So you have to use that information to your best. So that's going to be interesting. So who's left? That's going to be Chameleon or Marco. And let's see who comes out. That is Chameleon. Chameleon, you are Atreides. And just to confirm, should be Harkonnen. So maybe Atreides isn't the one getting spice, but Harkonnen definitely has trouble getting spice. But you end up with, you have more trader cards. So at the start I think we all get 4 trader cards, and everyone has to pick one except for you, which should be Marco, and you get to keep all 4. And they are obviously very powerful then in relation to combat. And then treachery cards, I think when you bid and you get a treachery card, you get 2. So I think that's and obviously there's more with everybody. So let's see who comes out. So that is Marco. So there we go. So we have Meeps. You are Spacing Guild. Chameleon, you are Atreides. I am Emperor. Rob, you are Freeman. And Marco, you are Harkonnen. So, guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read out the strategy tips that are in the book, just so you have them. Yeah, and yeah, we're going to see. We're going to be playing on. So I'm just going to change over now. Playing on Saturday, can't wait. So here we go. We're just going to read out the strategy tips. So I suppose I'll do mine last. So Spacing Guild, which is, who did we say was the Spacing Guild? Sorry about this. Spacing Guild is Meeps. This is your one. So Spacing Guild, your major handicap is your weak array of leaders and your inability to revive quickly. In addition, you usually cannot buy treachery cards at the beginning of the game. You're vulnerable at this point and should make your stronger moves after building up your resources. If players do not ship on at a steady rate, you will have to fight for spice on the surface and collect only the isolated blows. Your major advantage is that you can ship onto DUNE inexpensively and can ship from any one territory to another. This mobility allows you to make surprise moves and is particularly useful when you are the last player in the movement phase. If the game is out of reach and well along, try suicide battles against the strongest players to weaken them and prevent a win until the round ends. Then the victory is yours. Because obviously you have the special guild victory condition. If no faction has been able to win the game by the end of play, you have prevented control of DUNE and automatically win the game. So that's yours, Meeps. Next is we'll do Chameleon, and Chameleon is Atreides. So, Atreides. Okay. So, Atreides, you are handicapped by the fact that you must both purchase cards and ship onto DUNE, and you have no source of income other than the spice on the planet's surface. This will keep you in constant battles. Now, I'm just going to apologize. I will probably pronounce all the strongholds and places wrong. Please forgive me. So, since you start with Arkeen, you start from Arkeen, you have the movement advantage of 3 from the outset, and it is wise to protect this. Your prescience allows you to avoid being devoured by sandworms and allows you to get some slight head start on the spice blow. In addition, you can gain some slight advantage over those who would do battle with you by your foreknowledge of one element of their battle plan. So was that? Oh, yes, because you've that advantage. During the battle phase, you may force your opponent to reveal your choice of one of the 4 elements they will use in their battle plan against you, which is the leader, the weapon, defense, or the numbered dial. So within there. And if you choose to ask about a weapon or defense and your opponent tells you that they're not playing that element during the battle, you may not then ask to see a different element. So you get insight. So that's Atreides. Who is next? And then we'll do Rob. So Rob is Freeman. So Freeman, Rob, sorry, your major handicap is poverty, which will probably be the opposite of mine. Usually you can't purchase treachery cards for several turns since the others will outbid you. You must be patient and move your forces into any vacant strongholds, avoiding battles until you are prepared. When you do battle, you can afford to dial high and sacrifice your forces, since they have a high revival rate, and you can bring them back into play at no cost. You have the advantage of better mobility than factions without a city stronghold, and you have good fighting leaders. Your game plan will be to bide your time and wait for an accessible spice blow that no one else wants in order to build up your resources. Yeah, so that's the Freeman. So yeah, and again, you have a special victory condition as well. I won't go into it. It's just if no one has won, and and you have to occupy and certain things like that. Um, yes, and so I suppose shipment during shipment, you may bring any or all of your reserves for free onto the Great Flat or onto any one territory within two territories of the Great Flat. So, um, yeah, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, all right. As I said, who is left is Marco, and Marco has Harkonnen. So Harkonnen, where is that? Okay, so Marco, your major handicap is your difficulty in obtaining spice. Why have I heard that before? Well, I got that mixed up earlier. So yeah, your difficulties in obtaining spice. You are at your greatest relative strength at the beginning of the game and should capitalize on this fact by quickly buying as many treachery cards as you can and then surging into battle. Since you get 2 cards for every one you bid for, you can afford to bid a little higher than most. But if you spend too lavishly at first, you will not have enough spice to ship in forces or buy more cards at a later date. There is nothing so pitiful to see as a Harkonnen on home charity. The large number of cards you may hold will increase your chances of holding worthless cards. So, to counteract this, you should pick your battles, both to unload cards and to flush out the traders that you control. So, Harkonnen advantages says that you excel in treachery. So, yeah, that's going to be fun, all right. Um, Yeah. So this is the one where I said at the start of the game you draw 4 trader cards and you keep them all, including your own. And then any leader cards of other factions can be revealed in a battle as traders. So it's pretty powerful again. Like I said, everybody has their own power. Like these are the guys who made Cosmic Encounter, one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion. And we're gonna see just how whether DUNE gets into my top 10 or on Saturday. When people ask me my top 10 or like that, I say, well, I've got one game in it that I haven't even played because I think it will be, but we're gonna find out. Now, finally, is me, and I am Emperor. So, Emperor. Okay, so my major handicap is that I must ship in all of my forces at the start of the game, and often this move requires a battle before I am prepared. So, even though I do not need to forge for spice on the surface of DUNE often, I still am quite subject to attack since I'm likely to concentrate on the cities for their mobility that they give me. So on the plus side, I will never need spice badly since the bidding will keep me supplied. Because as I said, whenever any other faction pays spice for a treachery card, which is on the bidding phase, it doesn't go into the bank, it goes to me. Yeah, that's gonna be. I think 1 or 2 years is gonna be hard. Give me over that spice, but gimme. Um, yeah. So that's kind of really, yeah. That's my main. That's really my main advantage is spice. So I'm gonna have to work out how to. That's gonna be, like I said, I can't wait. It's gonna be great fun. Let's place that over there. So, yeah, everybody do the usual, like, share, do your thing. Next week, my weekly vlog, I will probably be discussing mainly what happens on Saturday. I have a class on tomorrow, so hopefully people will turn up and I get to teach some kids and their parents a few games, and I'll talk about that and whatever else I can get my hands on, find time to play. So, anyone out there, please send me in what you think, your thoughts on DUNE and where you think it is in your top 10. Is it like some of the guys that I follow and really like? I've seen some say it's their favorite game, and others have given it 3 out of 10. So where do you lie on that? Yeah. So like, share, comment, and yeah, stay safe and keep gaming.